All right, so welcome to this week's program of Into the Word, where we're going to be talking about Pharaoh's firstborn.
Not as much into the word as jumping around the word, that's for sure.
And still, we're going to be into the Word, but we're going to do a very unique thing with it today.
Slightly different format than most people are used to.
And over the next 6 weeks, we've got something that we're going to be doing, and that's going to be what we called an intangible evidence of an intangible faith.
You know, he says it's so wrong that when I went to go type out the title, I literally started with intangible faith. Wait a second. That's not right.
Proven by tangible evidence. You can always flip it around if you want.
Right.
But yeah, tangible faith of an tangible evidence of an intangible faith.
Not bad.
Our faith is not something that you can touch. I can't put my hands on it. It's not concrete. Okay? It's intangible.
It's not what's it considered? It's not the physical, it's the metaphysical.
Right. It's not
still a thing.
It's a thing, but I can't touch it.
Yeah.
I can't put my hands on it. I would like to sometimes shake it.
I was gonna say smack it around.
Wake up!
Food.
Wake up! Kind of thing.
Totally.
You can't do that.
I was gonna say totally in margins of what we were talking about. I recently saw a street vendor. They were selling pigeons. They literally just grabbed the pigeon, picked it up, shoved the funnel down its mouth, put a bunch of seed in it, then poured water and making sure all of the seed went down. Picked it up, smacked it a few times, and then chucked it in a bin. And it's like, I feel like I wish I could do that with faith sometime. Fatten it up a little bit.
Yeah. I get that.
Very disturbing to watch it done to a pigeon.
Wake up!
So.
But there are ways, there are things that we can literally on this earth put our hands on and go, the Bible talked about this.
I was going to say, if you have enough money to put your hands on, but
yeah, I guess
you can look at them.
I guess you can say we can, there's going to be a museum somewhere that's going to be very, very upset. You put your hands on it. I get it. But it is there. It's observable.
Yeah.
And so you can do that and go, yeah, that's right here in the Bible about this thing right here. And of course, where we are in the world, they will work very, very hard to try and tell you that that's not what that's for. That's not this, or the total denial of these things.
They try and hide it from you as well to distract you from looking at it.
Right. In fact, one of the things that we're going to view today, there's a video, and I hope you put the video link in our down in the what's that area called down there in the description? In the description. Thank you.
What video?
For Joel Kramer.
I have no new information about this, so just let me write a note. It'll get it there.
Yeah, just ask me for it. I mean, I got it. I've got it. I got it where I can get.
Bible, right?
Yeah, it is his channel, Expedition Bible.
Go check it out.
Highly recommend it. Go check it out. But he has a very, very specific. Actually, there are 2 videos to cover this particular subject matter that we're doing today. But in covering this subject matter, he deals with the idea that it is very, very frustrating to him that people in academics work so hard to say that's not what that is.
Oh,
that's not what that is.
I was just yelling about this the other day. They shape their findings instead of letting the findings shape what they think.
Correct. You have the evidence, and that's what we want to do. Is we want to take a look at a physical evidence that you literally can take a picture of. It's right there in front of you about something that happened almost 3,000 years ago. And I think the era of the time that we're going to talk about is actually over 3,000 years. Um, but anyway, we'll use the 3,000 year mark
Roughly.
to try and help us to get that. I don't have it memorized. I do know that there is one. We will be talking about dates and time periods. So we want to be sure that we have those because it really does
It
matter.
does.
Okay, in making our proof.
So what's this video about?
The video is about Pharaoh's son, and it matters
Right.
what Pharaoh that we're talking about. We're talking about Amenhotep
The
the
second?
second. Yeah,
Ooh.
because there is an Amenhotep the first. They don't call him the first. They Amenhotep. Then there's Amenhotep the second, and there's an Amenhotep the third, and
That's a few generations down the way, isn't
it's
it?
considered to be the 18th dynasty of pharaohs or kings of Egypt, and it's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be something that we're going to talk about. There's a pattern there in history, and the Bible refers to this pattern. The pattern is a king who has to serve for more than 40 years and then has a son who served very, very short notice.
Hmm.
Um, and the first one, what is his name? Tutmos is his father's name,
Mm-hmm.
and he served for 54 years, and Amenhotep the second served for only 27. And out of all the dynasties, out of everyone in the 18th dynasty, because we know that Israel was there during the 18th dynasty,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many other people that were going, oh, it's not him for
So,
this reason, it's not him
so
for that
Amenhotep
reason.
the second's dad isn't Amenhotep?
Dad
Yeah.
is actually um Tutmos the third.
Okay, so the names skip ever so often.
Right, because Amenhotep the second had a son by the name of Tutmos the fourth.
Okay.
So you got a Tutmos the third, Amenhotep the second, Tutmos the fourth. And there's another pattern that goes in there, because if anybody knows anything about, when Israel was in Egypt, there was a thing that happened when all the firstborn children were killed.
Oh yeah, it sounds
So
the Ten Commandments? Oh, I mean the 10 Plagues.
plagues, thank you very much. Put everybody on notice right there.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, you have this other pattern that's going to happen, and that is that there's a Tutmos the fourth is the ruling king afterwards. Well, if you were going to be, that doesn't seem to fit, because if you know anything about the 10 plagues, um, the oldest child was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how, does that fit the pattern? Well, I'm not going to tell you that right now. We're going to talk about it when we get into deeper into the podcast so that we can figure out what's going to happen, because there is a wrinkle in the history that most people don't know. So before we get into all of that, hey Kay, how you doing over on that side?
Am I? How are you?
Well, I'm okay. And just let everybody know, when we started, Kay wasn't feeling real well. So she's trying to get over a little bit of what she's going through right at the moment. And we kind of hope that maybe the medicine is kicking in. Just let everybody know. Is the medicine kicking in?
As far as I can tell, yes.
Okay. All right. You're not going to say anything weird or anything, are you? Dead airspace is not good.
I was trying to think of a response, being like, maybe a little slower than usual.
A little slower
but,
than usual?
The weird responses will stay the same.
Okay, that sounds really good. Well, we'll go ahead and get into our podcast for this week. So, Kay, tell everybody how they can get in touch with us.
Oh, if you're watching this here on YouTube, like and subscribe if you're not already, and comment down below what you think of today's podcast, or if you have a suggestion or things that you would like to know. What does the Bible say? We can help you go through that and help show you the different places where you can go and do your own research as well. We've also got an X account and an Instagram account, and we have a Facebook account that you can find us and connect with us there as well if you would like to. It'd be absolutely wonderful to see you over there. We also have it's like a Patreon account, but it's called Ko-fi instead, where you can be here and support the channel. That would be absolutely wonderful. You can either become a member with a $10 gift every month, and you get special perks there for being a sojourner, as we like to call it. Or if you could feel it in your heart, God calling you to give us even just a one-time gift, that would be absolutely wonderful. And if not, if you could give us your time for prayer for us, that would be absolutely wonderful. We are working really hard to do God's will here and do what He says, and stepping out in faith and trying to make this a full-time ministry. So yeah.
So that's what we're working on. And for the next 6 weeks, this is a special segment of broadcast. We're not into broadcasting. Podcast, because we will be podcasting during the Lent season. So this is a special series for the Lent season that we are doing called Tangible Evidence for an Intangible Faith.
Would you hold on. Where is it?
I have no idea. I'm not on the producer side of the screen.
Would you guys like to see a little introduction for it?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Let's see that then.
Yeah, boy, there's some cool things in those pictures to really be talking about.
Most of the time, they just kind of look like desert if you don't know
what they're associated with.
The importance behind it, especially the little weird thin piece of lead. It's a technically metal tablet there in the middle.
Well, it's technically lead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's okay to say it's lead. Because it is.
I was gonna say metal, but whatever. So it's very interesting. But if you saw in the bottom right-hand corner the picture of the mummy and what they think with AI rendering and reconstruction of it, what he looked like, that is who we're actually talking about today.
That's right. Pharaoh's firstborn. That's what we want to get into. So we kind of want to frame the question. And this is what I wrote for framing the question or framing the study. With the discovery of Amenhotep II's son in 1889.
Seriously?
That's how long ago that he was discovered.
Okay.
Right. With that happening, how can this knowledge help our faith today? And so that's what we want to bring together is the scripture. Now, you go back, Exodus, I think beginning in chapter 9 or 10, we start talking about the tales of Israel being in Egypt, the cry that's gone out, Moses is coming back, and there's these 10 plagues that happen that God used through Moses. And that takes us not just, it starts in somewhere around 8 or 9. That takes us all the way through chapter 12. In chapter 12 is the very last plague. And most people know what that very last plague is. But in 1889...
this is not a new thing.
No, it's not new.
Is it recently discovered of who he is the descendant of specifically, and it's just coming out to light because people are allowed to get their hands on the information and to test the information, or was it known all the way back when they found the tomb?
Um, uh, a French archaeologist. His name begins with an L, so it's like Loe or something like a Lotte, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, he's a French archaeologist. He is the one who discovered the tombs.
Okay.
And in discovering the tombs, and in fact, the tomb has a specific label. It's called KV35. Is what it was labeled by archaeologists. And in that, finding that tomb, they went in and Amenhotep II was in there. But they were not the first to ever have been there. Hundreds, maybe 1,000 years before he discovered the tomb.
I was going to say grave robbers?
Correct. To keep grave robbers from stealing from the pharaohs, the kings at the time, peoples of Egypt, keepers of the crypt, if you will, went in and removed a lot of kings during the dynasties, especially the 18th dynasty.
The actual mummies?
The actual mummies, took their sarcophagus and put them all together in Hotep's.
In one.
In one particular
okay, so they could only,
crypt.
So they only needed to guard one.
So they only needed to take care of one, and then they.
Interesting. Okay, the sarcophagi I know hold the bodies, but are there valuables put in the sarcophagi as well?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm like, why would they take because you just said the body specifically, and I'm like, I don't think unless there's a really weird black market out there for
yes, there is
mummies. Okay.
Yes, there is.
There we go. Fair enough. People are weird when they have money. I don't understand wanting to buy.
You're talking about thousand-of-year-old
people.
History.
People.
You're talking about history because you want to know
dead people. Let's put this into perspective. They're literally buying for probably millions of dollars out there for the black market. Dead people.
Which is highly illegal in most countries.
I would hope so. So let's just put that into perspective. But then to switch over to the history of it it's a culture, it's a history, and it's a significant part of what, Egypt was for the longest of time. And so, that's bad as well. Grave robbing and all that jazz. But
so in Joel Kramer's like I said, there are two different videos, but in Joel Kramer's one video, he takes you to the entrance, he explains it, he actually takes you into the crypt so that you can see it. He is a studied archaeologist himself. And his biggest frustration is he believes that this particular crypt of Amenhotep II is probably or should be the most famous and visited crypt, number one, because it had 8 or 9 of the kings from the 18th dynasty was in the one crypt, and then it was buried. So people couldn't get into it. Remember,
I was gonna say intentionally.
Intentionally, so that the entrance would be hidden, but it's open now, and a lot of these pharaohs have been taken out of this particular crypt, and in the Museum of Egypt, their bodies are on display.
I was gonna say, no matter if you're dead or alive, human trafficking is still something.
Okay. Yeah.
Grave robbing. Anyway.
Yeah, grave robbing and that kind of thing. Now, the cool thing on how we know that this is Amenhotep II.
I would assume there was a marking of some kind labeling it his.
It was written on his headpiece, labeling who he was.
So like a crown on the mummy.
They put a face cloth on, and on the outside of the face cloth when he was buried is his name, Amenhotep.
Oh, it sucked for
And
the
we
people
know,
mummifying them, switching them around.
well, that's the thing. It's not that he just had one.
All of them did.
But the other ones that they moved into his crypt, they all had name tags on them.
Did they put them on there as the name tags, or
But
did...
not everybody in that crypt had a name tag.
Okay, I was gonna say, but did the people who moved them there put the name tags on, or was that the common practice?
No, it was ancient Egyptian.
Okay, so it is the common practice that when they mummify them and put them in the sarcophagi.
But we have no date of when they were moved or that they were moved at all. Now, to further, it is Egypt's culture.
Mm-hmm.
And actually most Middle Eastern cultures do not like to admit or confess to defeat.
A lot of cultures, yeah, okay.
I mean,
well,
I've
France,
gotten,
but whatever.
I will talk about the game that my football team I played on won a championship. But you'll hardly never hear me talk about the game where we lost the championship. Okay. I cried. This particular podcast is going on just a few days after the USA beat Canada in the Olympics hockey.
Yeah.
Not referring to the game for the sport's sake, but rather for the sake of understanding. When you get beat, who wants to talk about it? When you
talk about the winners, not the losers.
You talk about the winners, and I'm proud of USA, but my heart goes out because I know what it feels like to lose a championship.
See, that's why I can never officiate games, because I always feel bad for the people who aren't winning. And it's like, well, you're winning, so you don't have to worry about it. You feel good anyway. You feel bad.
Yeah, you can't do that. As an official, you got to be fair across the board for the whole game.
Right.
No matter what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, this is what you got to do. We say that because I'm a basketball official.
You have to be fair. I want it to be fair. After the game, though, good for them. They won. I'm gonna go comfort the losers. I feel bad for them. They lost.
But nobody wants to talk about the championship. Well, guess what? Egypt in their culture is no different. We come to find out that through what happened, there's almost no evidence in Egyptian literature, things that have writings on them, that Israel or the Semites were even in their land. They were so defeated.
Well,
so in order to they eradicated it from their history.
Well, also think about it, the fact of their God was angry with us. We don't want to cause that wrath as well. And people are very superstitious in something. So it's mainly about scorned pride, yes, but it's also, we don't want that happening to us again. So we're just going to scrub everything out of history.
Right. And they're not the only culture that has done that.
Every culture has done it or is doing it at some point in history.
Yeah.
So.
Although the Israelites and their culture is one of the rare ones that actually do not scrub things out of their history. And
the mighty hand of God directing their history directly, so I'm sure there's more of his intervention with that than...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure
you realize that's a large part of the prophet's writings.
Yeah.
And when Jesus alluded to, you got the law and the prophets, listen to them, okay? There's a significant part of that the prophets are writing things that are not very kind about kings and the people. And that's exactly the point, is God made sure that when he gave the words to the prophets and the prophets' writings are preserved, we're seeing the worst of humanity. God is reporting on what sin was and what he detests and that kind of stuff. Whereas, and the children of Israel going into captivity, that would be the same as what we get it from Israel. Let's say it that way. If just think if Israel would have had, well, let's purge that out of our history, then that would be what Egypt was doing when they purged the Semites, which is basically the Jews. When they purged them out of their history, there's segments of history that are missing from writings and other things like that. So I'm sure we've got some of the folks going, okay, how are we going to take a look at Pharaoh's firstborn, and we're going to be encouraged by that if there's no writings or anything of that nature? Oh, my friends,
If the culture
there
themselves doesn't write
is
about it, there's the cultures around them that potentially write about it.
too, but this is one of the things that is seriously missing.
Mhm.
But we can take a look at science, and science will give us some things, and then history will give us some things, and we take a look at those, and then the Bible will fill in the rest. Excuse me for hiccuping. And the Bible will fill in the rest. So there's certain things that we probably should be looking for. So let's start off. How can we be encouraged from something that happened in 1889 that Egyptologists, yes, it has its own study, that's after the country because they're so old.
Try saying
fail.
study for butterflies 5 times fast.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. But they don't want to report on it, and in their own history have eradicated it because they do not want to show that the God of Israel took down their country, took down their culture,
Their Pharaoh.
took down their gods. Okay?
Because remember, the Pharaoh is treated as a god.
As a god. And they were taken down, and so it's eradicated from their history. And remember the time period that we're about ready to talk about, God so wounded Egypt as, and by the way, Tutmos, we have to look his name up. I didn't write his name down. But Thutmose the third was considered one of the greatest pharaohs of increasing the wealth and the land of Egypt and the control of Egypt.
Was he a Pharaoh that came in with Joseph?
No.
He was the one or two before him.
Oh no, this is way after Joseph.
Okay.
This is way after Joseph.
How many pharaohs then do you think?
We can go through and count them, but this is over 300 years after Joseph.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we get to the time of Moses. Now, Thutmose III was the Pharaoh during the time Moses was a baby.
Okay.
All right. It's his daughter that finds Moses.
Okay.
All right. And it is him which finds in which Moses
So in adoption would technically Amenhotep II be his uncle?
Oh, you know what? I need to back up. No, Amenhotep. It's Amenhotep, not Tutmose. So
Okay.
Amenhotep the first is the pharaoh when Moses was born. Tutmose, his son, becomes the pharaoh when Moses kills a man and has to run. Did you know Moses killed a man?
Yeah,
Okay.
That part of the story is quite well known. All right.
Moses kills a man.
Amenhotep the first.
Yeah.
His daughter's the one who
adopts Moses.
So Amenhotep the second. Okay, that's fine.
Then Tutmose the third becomes Pharaoh. He is the one, and he is the one who is considered for one of the greatest pharaohs of the time. He enlarges the borders, does everything. That's who Moses kills the Egyptian underneath, and Moses flees for his life. Okay.
So Tutmose would be under adoption considered his uncle.
Uh-huh.
So then we go down the next generation, which is Amenhotep the second.
Then when
his cousin.
First, he's out in the desert for 40 years. and Tutmos the third dies.
Right.
And then God said, go back to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Amenhotep. Amen.
Amenhotep.
Not Amenhotep. Amenhotep the second is now the Pharaoh when Moses comes back and says, let my people go.
Right, which is Tutmos' son.
Tutmos the third's son.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tutmos the third's son. So that would technically be Pharaoh's cousin underneath him being adopted by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go.
No, Pharaoh's cousin? No. The first Pharaoh,
Amenhotep the first's daughter
Amenhotep,
adopted him.
Tutmos the third,
Making Tutmos the third
which
his
is
uncle.
which is Tutmos the third is Amenhotep's son.
Amenhotep's son.
Right.
Yes.
Which means
his sister adopted Moses.
A sister, when you look at it that way.
Yes, his
okay.
sister adopted Moses, which makes him his uncle. And then Tutmos III's son, Amenhotep II, would technically be
a great uncle. No.
Cousin.
No. Cousin.
Cousin.
I went the wrong way in generation.
Yeah, right.
I went up, not down.
Yes, we got that. Anyway.
Okay.
So, in sight of all of this, is quite awkward if you're going to look at it from family tensions and ties of, well, the adopted cousin came back causing trouble.
Even that, he's adopted. So, yeah, we're talking about the
adopted
redheaded stepchild.
Yes, something like that. So if you guys want to put it into more like modern times, remember they're people, they have relationships, and this is a really awkward relationship.
It's awkward, but it's obvious he knows who Moses is when Moses comes back. Now, when Moses left and he fled, he was approximately 40. He was 40 years out in the desert. So when Moses comes back to Amenhotep II to say, let my people go, he's
old.
80. He's 80.
Wait a second. Then after that, they wandered 40 years into the desert.
How old was Moses when God took him? 120.
Okay, it was. I guess I'm like, it's right at the end of the 40 years, so roughly 120-ish.
So Moses was 120 years when he left this earth.
Man, that is a lot. I'm too old.
You want to know? Exactly. You want to know why the guy was losing patience as he was heading out? It's like, you people!
Someone's like, hey, does anyone know where Moses is? Oh, I don't know who the heck Moses is, but that calf over there is looking pretty darn good to worship.
Okay.
Gone for 5 seconds.
Yeah, go up on the mountain for 40 days. When I come back.
Oh, yeah.
You people.
Okay, getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but we want to stay with.
It's a wild ride to read.
You want to stay with the 10. You want to stay with the 10 plagues. We are, because one of the big things that the enemy of our faith, Satan, that he really works with is to bring doubt about the children of Israel, about the 10 miraculous things that God did to Egypt to tear up the country, as opposed to none of it happening to Israel.
Miracle, I guess, is not inherent.
That God led 2 million people out, and there is they will tell you there's little to no history of any that large of amount of Semites being held in Egypt. Well, one of the problems is that Egyptologists, they don't put Israel as being there during that time. Very interestingly enough, it's because when the book of Exodus comes around, they reference the city that the Semite people are in as the city of Ramses. And Ramses isn't even in the 18th dynasty.
No, because they assume all of the pharaohs' egos were so big that they had to have the city that they were currently living in named after them.
Yeah, and not taken.
Not all of them were like that. they sometimes, a lot of times, they did other feats like make more gold statues of themselves with weird beards. And then actually, I wanted to know what that weird thing that they stick on their chin is called, but that's another
Goatee.
thing.
It's still referred to as a goatee, but
Yeah,
they have a
special,
special braid for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
decorative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes they didn't always change the city that they lived in, so sometimes they kept it the same.
Mm-hmm.
So really,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they automatically assumed, well, it's going to be named after the pharaoh that
Well,
was in power is not inherently the right thinking to go about it
and
with.
so if you think about the way that Exodus is written,
Mhm.
it's the Exodus and the history of the Exodus is written the way we believe that Moses gave the book to the scribes and gave the information to scribes, and scribes wrote it down
Mhm.
from verbiage. And you go, well, why is that important? Well, because there's information, especially starting at the very beginning of Exodus,
Mhm.
that as all these books are having oral tradition before they're written down, um, that then the scribe who is doing it is going to make references to for the reader so they know what they're talking about. So that it's being written um 40, 60 years later than the life of Moses, possibly, because there's other authors that they believe are actually the penmen, scribes the word, for the book of Exodus. We believe that God gave Moses the history on a lot of things. Now, coming into the second, third chapter, after Moses is a baby, Moses can give you a lot of that history because he knows it, he lived
He
it.
lived it, yeah.
But prior to that, he's a baby. So how is he going to know that history? I mean, could be people told him, blah blah blah. But Moses is also credited for writing Genesis, which is all before his time. A lot of people believe that the 40 days up on the mount where God
Mhm.
is with Moses, and by the way, we have a picture of the top of Mount Sinai in our intro. It's the mountain that the top of it is all black.
It's the top left corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all black, and that's because if you read in there when God was talking to Moses, it was thunder, lightning, fire, and the people said, look, Moses is dead. Let's go worship a golden calf." Um, I'm gonna have to sneeze here. Give me a second.
All of this in summation to say is that through the oral history, then suddenly written down, things change. So
So
it has to make
opening
sense somehow.
so opening up the book of Exodus by naming the city where
They stood, they
the
stayed.
Hebrew people were, Semitic people, giving that history, naming it, the city of Ramses, which it was end up naming after the Pharaoh Ramses II. Um, there's they go, well, that's during this time period. So if it's no wonder we can't find him. We're not looking in the right time period. Um, and it's not so. It's one of those things. In other words, it was given to us as a point of reference because people know where the city of Ramesses is, but not. And we know what the name of it was before Ramses, and I can't think of it off the
I
top of my
just
head.
have this meme in my head. It's like story from the Bible, perfectly cog shaped. Looks over to this history, this puzzle piece, where there's the exact shape taken out of it. The Bible being right, his giant chunk of history being, scrubbed from all other cultures, perfectly fits in with the Bible. Nah, Bible can't be right. Throws it away. Goes looking for something else. That's how
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely how it's done. And please understand, everybody, the reason why is because we don't want to prove God right.
not
That
that we need to
that's
prove
why,
him right. He proves
of,
himself
of
right.
course, this is
They're just in denial.
one of the ways the enemy of our soul does not want us to be encouraged and to show you that there is all this earthly, physical evidence that says, oh, yeah, you see what you read right there in the Bible? Right here's the physical evidence for it. And how absurd people 3,000 years later go, oh, well, that couldn't have happened right then. It's got to be the way that we see it now, 3,000 years later. And so we get to say what the time period is 3,000 years later.
Right.
God forbid, we weren't there. We have no idea, but we know when it happened.
They take what they think and they let it shape the history that they see instead of with the evidence, twisting it into what they want, instead of the evidence taking it and shaping what they think and going, that's logical and makes sense. It's like, people being like 100% this thing is this thing. Well, like 85%, 89, 95% of it is almost for sure there. But there's a slight possibility because at the end of the day, we don't know. It's history. We can learn from it. We can be pretty darn sure. Let it encourage us because it was there for us. But there are some things in history, some that we know for 100% for a fact and true, and a lot, and I don't know if this is one of them that you could say, but the fact that how many people are fighting it to try and make it disprove God makes me more certain that it is exactly there to prove God. But you can always look in and go, sure, 99% sure. But I don't know 100% because I wasn't there. I wasn't alive.
Right. So let's do that. Let's get into the historiology. I want to show you what the Bible says, and then I want to show you some physical proof so that what we have physically that we can lay our hands on, if the archaeologists would let us, and say,
stick to your tongue.
What does?
Bones.
I'm not licking any bones. It's not going to happen. So no, I had no idea.
That's one of the ways. Back before they could really test.
You're making my stomach turn. Oh, please.
They washed it off and went, kind of looks like a bone. They washed it. Okay,
no,
they washed it.
I don't care. That's just gross.
It was not a common practice, but a few of them did it.
Does it taste like a bone? Yeah, it tastes like a bone. Oh, you think it's a bone? Oh, yeah, I think it's a bone.
Oh, let's see if one of the dogs want it.
Sure.
I'm good.
Oh, man. Anyway, let's get into the historiology of what we're talking about.
There we go. Can you mute my mic? I'm gonna blow my nose.
All right. I gotta think that that you made it up. That because I have no idea where you would have gotten that. Lick it. I'm not licking that. I am not licking that. Anyway, so let's get into some scripture. First off, let's talk about which Pharaoh we're talking about so that you just don't go, oh, is it any Pharaoh that's just out there? No. Let's show you we have to do it, and this is going to be an interesting way. We've got to do it by mathematics because it's got to fit the specific pattern of when Moses was there. So, in other words, Moses leaves for 40 years. So it's got the first king that is there when Moses is there has got to serve for over 40 years. And we do know that that if this is going to happen in history, the children of Israel had to be there during the 18th century. So or the 18th dynasty. So
18th century. Whoa.
So you take all and hopefully we'll hunt down. I found a timeline that shows the 18th dynasty of pharaohs, and we'll take a look at that here in just a little bit. But so it's got to be over 40 years And then the second king that comes in, that is there during the time of Moses, has to be there, because remember, Moses is gone for 40 years and he comes back, so it has to be over 40 years.
Mhm.
And then the next king has to serve a very, very short time, um, and that kind of thing. And Amenhotep only serves for 27 years. Um, so they're the only two back-to-back kings in the 18th dynasty that fit the time period that has to be in order for to fit what the Bible has to say. So two things going on here. Does it happen in history? Yes, which tells us how accurate the Bible is. You ready for this?
Well, when it comes to the math, I'll leave it and trust it up to you. So,
Okay,
yes.
so here we go. Exodus chapter 2 is part of our proof.
Right.
Exodus chapter 2 and verse 15. Now, a lot of this is going to go against my first nature. I hate just picking out things, but we just need information. We don't need context. So that's the cool thing. We're not looking for contextual
You
meaning.
can go read the context of
the entire chapter.
Go for it.
Do it. Chapter 2 is pretty cool. So Exodus chapter 2 and then verse 15. What does that tell us?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And sure enough, Pharaoh heard what had happened, and he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in the land of Midian. When Moses arrived in Midian, he sat down beside a well.
All right. This is where he meets them. And then verse 23 tells, why did you do that?
Oh, it's because my microphone is
sagging.
Sure, let's go with that one.
Okay. Oh, I can't see.
And then in verse 23.
Yeah. Now bring over verse 23 because he takes off and he's gone. Now, interestingly enough, Exodus does not tell us how long he's gone, but it does say this. Go ahead. Verse 23.
Years passed and the king of Egypt died, but the Israelites continued to groan under their burden of slavery. They cried out for help and their cries rose up to God.
All right.
I almost heard grow.
Okay.
So, nope, there isn't in there.
Nope, it's not there. And so we know it tells us that he's gone for years. And then after that Pharaoh dies, then comes back. Okay, how many years? Can we get this down to a scientific, we know exactly how many years he's gone? Sure, that's found in Acts chapter 7.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring it over. And 7.
Mm-hmm. Acts chapter 7, verse 30.
Here we go. 40 years later, in the desert near Mount Sinai, an angel appeared to Moses in the flame of a burning bush.
Mm-hmm. And so there in Acts, it gives us the exact number of years. Now,
how long do you think it would take him to travel from Midian to Egypt?
On foot?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably pretty close to 3 months. 3-4 months would be my guess.
Ask that.
Yeah, you can ask that. So there's where we get our 40 years. So whoever the king is, and remember, he died before Moses came back. So Moses came back after being gone for 40 years. So that king had to serve over 40 years. And Moses was approximately 40 years old when he fled. Okay, so he leaves around 40 years. He comes back around 80 years old. Woo! Okay, so the guy has to have served and be king. The only one in the 18th dynasty that served that long is Tutmos III. So that gives us who the king was that served and died. Moses, it's the one that was going to go after Moses. Now understand, he and Moses are stepbrothers.
What?
Tutmos the third and Moses are stepbrothers.
No, I thought we established that it was his uncle.
No.
No, cousin.
No.
It's who's. But I thought it was.
Oh, yeah,
cousin.
I'm totally thinking about that wrong.
Because it's not the sister.
It's not the sister, right?
It's the sister, not him that adopted him.
But Tutmos's dad raised Moses like a son in his household. But yes,
That's because we
that's,
don't know if his sister ever got married and had other kids and stuff.
Right. Okay.
So that kind of makes it sound like he didn't. So that makes the adopted thing even more awkward because he was treated more like a stepson than just a cousin.
But he was raised like a stepson in Pharaoh's house.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's where when you kept saying cousin, I'm like, well, no, because it puts it more
family culture. But I guess the fact that he took him in under and tried to use it. Man, that makes it even more awkward.
And he had a royal education. He's raised in the palace, so all the things
he knows. Yeah, he knows.
So he's got the best of teachers. He's got the best of food. He's got, all the comforts.
2 weeks on foot.
All the
340 miles.
Oh, okay. I thought I was thinking way more miles than that.
Right. So it's in between the regions of Midian and of modern day Saudi Arabia. And Egypt is roughly 300 to 400 miles.
Okay. All right.
So we'll say 3 weeks because
I'm taking a month. I'm taking a month.
I'm sure
I
he's
don't know
dragging
about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So then, yes, so Tutmos the third and Moses are being raised in the palace at the same time. So it's going to kind of be like brothers in a sense. Okay.
The prodigal son coming back, and yet it's the brother meeting him. Just like, no.
Well, actually, no. So understand when Moses kills a person, and if Tutmos the third wasn't real kind to his stepbrother, you want to know another reason why Moses fled?
That too.
That's all he needed was a reason to get rid of me.
Another one, yeah.
All right. So Moses flees. Tutmos the third dies because I'm pretty sure he's going to remember Moses's crime all the days of his life. He gets that chance to get rid of Moses. He's going to get rid of Moses. So Moses just better stay away. He dies. His son his son might remember Moses. Being that they're all raised in the palace together, Moses was 40 when he fled.
We don't know you don't know how old Amenhotep II is.
Nope, we don't know anything about ages.
But Tutmos the third would have been, even though they would have acted more like siblings.
But Tutmos the third
was technically his uncle.
But Tutmos the third now is the firstborn male who gets to be the ruler. All right. And that is exactly what he is. Amenhotep II is the firstborn son of Tutmos III. And so that's why when he dies, he gets to be king. Now, there is a thing that is found in history, in Egyptian history. So if you were to read their history, you would find this out, that Amenhotep II was being prepared. He was seen as a ruler 2 years before Tutmos III died. So in other words, he was in a 2-year grooming pattern. And we do know that he was approximately 18 years old when he took the throne. Approximately 20 years old when his dad, Tutmos III, died.
So the likelihood of him knowing him is
I take that back. Now we take a look at the math.
no,
he wouldn't have known
it was 20
Moses
years. It was 20 years
after Moses fled.
So the question is did he? So Moses would have absolutely known, and all of that, and looking at him, putting two and two together. As soon as you come into the land, like, oh, it's Amenhotep II. Oh, yes, and who was his father? Tutmos III. Went, oh,
him.
Right.
Moses has the advantage.
Right.
You know why?
Because he knows.
Well, not only that, look at the young man in his face, and he's probably going to carry a lot of his father's traits. And, there's just something about looking at a younger man, knowing who his father is.
Growing up with his father.
And
I'm sure Moses went, I doubt he changed much after I left Midian.
And not only that, but growing up underneath your dad, I think he's going to teach you all the things.
So my question is did the court people look at him and go, by the way, that's Moses. He's technically your cousin by adoption.
Or yes, there had to be people there.
I'm sure there was somebody that
still with the court that would know.
A young enough person in the court, or that one really old person in the court that just won't die. I don't know. It's the old crooky advisor that we've kept on here since, my grandfather. Your grandfather? How old is he now? We don't really know. He's always been old ever since I've remembered.
Yeah, he's always been old. Yeah.
Right.
That's Uncle Harvey for us in our church. I found a picture of him. He was 80 some years old when he passed away in the 90s. And he was just always this mostly bald-headed guy. We found a picture of him in 1939.
Did he look any different?
No. He was top bald. He only had hair in his crown. You could look right at him and go, oh my goodness, that's Uncle Harvey. And my cousin was looking over my shoulder at the picture, and he goes, did that man ever have hair?
I don't know. I looked in the phone book for crazy old cooks that can save the day, and there's only one listed. It's old Jingle. Old Jingle, he can't be alive. He was old when my dad was around.
Yeah. Uncle Harvey, he is awesome. Sometime maybe I could tell some stories on Uncle Harvey. But anyway, and by the way, not my uncle. It's just everybody knew him as Uncle Harvey. Yeah,
it's just those
at our church.
People. Yeah.
So that's about Pharaoh. One of the other things, and so, we talk about dates, and people who are anti-Bible go, that just can't possibly be the date. And yet those two and their relationship and their reign is the possible date of when the story of Moses could have happened. And yet people go, oh, no, that's not there. It's not, it can be it. And so here's another reason why people say it couldn't be it. And it has to do with the Pharaoh himself, because we believe we have Amenhotep's body. We've unearthed it. It was a mummy. And remember, when they unearthed the body, it had Amenhotep II on his headdress. So we know that it's him. Okay. And the others also had their names on top of them. But there was one body that belonged to a child who was also in that room, and that mummified body was found on a boat. Yes, they pulled a boat into the room because, remember, they believed that if you were going to cross in the afterlife, you needed a boat in order to get across in the afterlife. And so they literally buried him on this boat, mummified him and buried him on his boat. That was going to take him to the afterlife, which is really funny. Nobody else in the room had a boat, but this child did. We'll get to that in a minute. But other people who try to disclaim that this was the time period says, well, if that's true, then we've got a mummy that you guys are calling Amenhotep II. And if he was the ruler of when Moses was there at the time, well, then if the Bible is true, you shouldn't be able to have a body at all. Why? Because the Bible says that God drowned Pharaoh's army in the Red Sea.
Well, there's a couple things that I can think of to speak of immediately. Does it say that the Pharaoh went with him in his army? Was he leading the army?
No. Do kings lead armies into battle? Where do they normally stay in the battle?
General, go do this thing for
That's
me.
right. And the kings stay to the rear.
Because they need, and it's strategically important because
to save the king.
Keep the leader, so he can continue being the leader.
Right.
Right. That was my first thing. And I'm like,
what's another thing?
Okay, well, they treat their pharaohs like gods. I'm sure they could have sent somebody out to find him to mummify him because it's very important that they do that.
So even if he did drown,
just in case,
it is important to bring the leader's body home. Back.
And you never know if they would also go to find the other bodies. But you also got to realize
now
how heavy is their armor.
How did they drown? Think about it. What happened? What caused the Israelites to walk through on dry ground? What happened?
The splee was set.
You say that 5 times real fast.
No, the sea was split.
The sea was split. Mm-hmm.
The suction would have dragged them under.
East wind.
Mm-hmm.
East wind stopped.
Mm-hmm.
What does that create?
The vacuum of the water coming back.
Not a vacuum.
No?
No, the wind just stops. The water will cave back in.
What I'm saying is when the water caves back in, it would have created a tide that sucked them under.
Sucked them under.
Kept them under.
But done what?
Crushed them.
And?
Drowned them.
There's going to be a tidal wave.
Yeah. Oh, wash them away.
Not away. Where are you going to get washed to?
Where?
The shore.
Okay, whatever shore. Right,
You're a wave will always find its way to the shore.
Right, and remember, it's a sea. There's tides. There's waves.
Right.
What do you think is
so
after a while the body would blow? Do you think?
And probably come back on land.
Right. The chariots, however, which they have found, pretty sure chariot wheels.
They have found chariot wheels that go, and this is super important, that go very specifically to the date, because you get just 100 years away and they add more spokes to the wheels for stability. So the thing of it is we know these wheels match these dates because they are only 4-spoked wheels.
It's really cool, but they're too heavy. They would stay. They wouldn't anything. But eventually, I know, gross, whatever. But decomposition causes gases in the body, and it would cause it to rise up, and it would be caught by the tides and the winds
and be washed ashore.
There was also probably people waiting for them eventually to do that.
So that argument of it happening.
It can't be him because he died.
He died and he drowned. No, they're going to. Most likely didn't because he's a king.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, if he did, they're still going to recover his body and bring it back. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have DNA because of Tutmos III, and the other ones. We have DNA to go. That boy, he's family.
Right. So.
Okay.
Regardless of how he died. And regardless,
and they also have
to recover his body. We do know it's him, positively 100%.
Yes, and we also have again. Remember, he's labeled who he is, but we also have his papa's and his mama's DNA because she was buried with them.
Right, because if the pharaoh dies, they kill her and bury her with him.
Yeah. So, but let's take a look at what the scripture really says. How is it that we assume that he was buried or that he drowned in the sea, especially when you read the scripture?
Well, I was
Does
just
the
going
scripture
over in my brain. I'm like, it doesn't say Pharaoh and his army. It says Pharaoh's army. Which
bring it up for everybody
Right,
to
okay.
see, please?
That's where my
Exodus
brain,
chapter 14 and verse 23.
right, and that's where my brain immediately went because I'm like, but they didn't say it's actually Pharaoh. They just said it was Pharaoh's army.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Egyptians, all of Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and charioteers, chased them into the middle of the sea.
Yeah, Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and
Plural.
charioteers. It does not say Pharaoh chased them.
It's the possessive.
Hmm? All the stuff that was under him did.
Yeah.
Okay. And he chased them into the middle of the sea. All those people did, but not Pharaoh. But even then, again, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Pharaoh died, they're going to bring him back. And we know scientifically that we have his body.
Because of DNA. And
Because
because
of DNA.
It's really cool.
But Psalm 136:15. But now, and so remember, you've got people that are hanging all their philosophy on this. I don't believe the Bible, but I'm going to use the Bible in a twisted fashion in order to prove that it's not Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh drowned. He died in the sea with his army. It doesn't say that. That's not what it says at all.
Pharaoh's army drowned in the
sea. And the horses.
All of his chariots. Oh, his horses, his chariots, and his charioteers. Specifically.
Right.
Not his whole army.
No.
Just the chariots and charioteers.
So bring up Psalm 136:15.
Yeah.
This is a great psalm. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good.
His love endures forever.
Yep, that's where we get this one. But in verse 15, you ready for this?
But he hurled Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea. His faithful love endures forever.
He hurled Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea.
Right.
That's kind of where they get it. So, but again, even if...
But it was proven that they retrieved his body.
That's the thing. We have Pharaoh's body, and we're very sure of it. And I want to show you one of the ways that we know that we have Pharaoh's body. If you would look up Exodus chapter 9 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can do that.
Okay. This is one of the 10 plagues.
9, right.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
I got distracted trying to fix your camera.
Oh, did you fix it?
I think so.
Because, like, I can do it from this side if you wanted me to. But...
No, you can.
Yes, I can.
No, you can.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
No. Exodus 9?
Exodus chapter 9. Mm-hmm. And verse 10.
So they took soot from a brick kiln and went and stood before Pharaoh. As Pharaoh watched, Moses threw the soot into the air, and boils broke out on people and animals alike.
All right. Okay. So, you ready for this? I would like for you to go to google.com.
Okay.
And see if we can find a picture, an image of Amenhotep II. It is in the Egyptian Museum on display. The Egyptians themselves have no problem with displaying him as Amenhotep II. They believe that it is fact.
Dad, you know,
yes?
Your auto tracking thing is on, and it keeps messing me up.
What auto tracking thing?
You just move to the left or right.
Are you sure it's auto tracking and not centering?
Did it flash?
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, you're good.
I told you I could fix it on this side.
This is.
All right, so are we ready? Google.com images Amenhotep II, and what we're looking for is a photo of him at the Egyptian Museum.
Pardon me for not enjoying staring at dead people.
Well, you're not supposed to enjoy staring at dead people. Yeah, that would work.
Actually, from the Egyptian Museum.
Yep, that'll work.
Nice. No,
If you can bring it in and blow it up great big, make it sound like a big kaplow. That's it right there.
Yeah, this is actually this is actually the Egyptian Museum. This is their article for it.
Good. Can you take that picture, isolate it, and blow it up? Okay, that's good. I think everybody can see it, especially because they have bigger. Do you recognize what those are on his neck and part of his face?
I was gonna say that discoloration there and there.
Not the discoloration, the bumps.
Oh, those things?
Scientifically, they're called tubercles.
How do you spell that?
Tubercles.
Okay.
Tubercles.
Okay.
Guess what they are? What we call them?
Boils?
Boils.
He still has the boils?
How fast did he die after the boils? Because he is still carrying the boils. You want to know why he was mad and chased the Israelites into the water?
Well, okay,
Look at how he's still suffering.
Now I'm getting...
Remember, it says they had boils all over their bodies.
So, okay, and he... excuse me. I was gonna say...
Yes. No dead airspace.
Too bad. Okay, I can keep going with what you were thinking.
So now we've got not only DNA to say that he is Amenhotep II. Not only does his reign fit perfectly in the time period that the Bible says, because it doesn't list his name, just calls him Pharaoh, right? So what pharaohs? His father before him and his reign. It's not just one person's reign that we're looking at, but there has to be a pattern of two pharaohs in order to match the time period that Moses came into being, and God used him for this. Not only do we have a pharaoh who has who matches the time period, and we see the DNA. When we find him, he has Amenhotep II written on his face, cloth that goes across, but he is still bearing in his mummified state to verify to us this day that he contained a body full of boils. And he was suffering from it. Because if you've ever had one boil, you feel bad.
I've seen a few.
Did you see?
With them.
Did you see the amount that he had? And on the other side of him, his one shoulder is exposed. You didn't have the other side, the other camera angle from the other side. And he has on that side, they're all over his shoulder. On that side. Like that.
I was gonna say and I remembered then is if for the theory of him being completely mad, out of his senses, and wants to chase down the Israelites to give them a piece of his mind because
he's not going to let them go. He's going to bring them back.
I will be at the front leading of the very easily understandable because he's going out.
He's angry.
He's angry.
Exactly. So this is what we've got going on. By the way, when you have that many things that verify who this man is, when are you going to start going, oh, look, the Bible's accurate?
Are we even going to stop and talk about the fact that there's the literal DNA?
Are we going to? We don't have to. Because what we're going to do, is we're going to say, this is the guy, all right? This is the guy based on scripture.
Yeah.
But based on, we've got his body. We can do when he existed. Does that fit the time period? We can do, does he have boils still on him from what happened? Yes, we can. He also has a shaved head. Remember the lice.
Mm.
And how do you deal with lice, especially back then?
You shave your head.
You get rid of your hair.
There's nothing to hang on to, sucker.
Okay, so we have that. And so we have the shaved head, but they also did shaved heads for other reasons, for cleanliness and so forth. So that doesn't necessarily 100% prove the lice, but now you've got the boils. And then last but not least, we got his mom and dad's body. We do a little DNA testing. Oh, guess what he is?
It's their son.
A son. We got it. You know, so we can test that and we know what he is. But check this out. What is the last plague that is given?
The angel of death.
The angel of death
through the land.
comes across the land. Okay. And so before we go further into the date, we can get really specific with the date. And I'm going to show you how we can do that. But before we do that, we need to remember that there was the death of the firstborn male child and death of the firstborn of all male animals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that brings us to another fact that has to fit very specific, which means that, so who is the third person? If Amenhotep II only reigned for 27 years, who is the person that comes in after him? Because if that person that comes in after him is the firstborn son of Amenhotep II, then the Bible's not accurate, because the Bible specifically says everybody will be affected by this, including Pharaoh.
I was going to say especially Pharaoh, but yeah.
But the Bible lists out that Pharaoh is subjected to this too. It will not skip his household. So that means,
why would it?
So that means we got to go and take a look at who follows Pharaoh or Amenhotep II.
Oh, are we doing the...
His name is Thutmose IV.
Okay.
All right. By Egypt's own history, Thutmose IV is the second born son.
Uh-huh.
Is this sounding more accurate all the time?
Personally, to me, I never doubted it, but it's just really cool through history that you can
this
see
is
it,
this
more
is
than
being
just the Bible.
Correct. This is being solved through history. Okay, so what? Which says how accurate the Bible is. So what can we find out? What is or who was Amenhotep II? Who was his firstborn son? If you'll take Google, and I want to tell you what, this one is going to be tough, because Google, being that it's a type of AI, will want to follow the consensus science. And remember, consensus does not want to let the truth be told here.
Right.
But let's see what Google.com says about who was Amenhotep II. Who was his firstborn? Does he have a different name? Is it? Now, history says that Thutmose IV was his second son. So who would his first son be? Can you bring it over to the screen so we can see what you're doing? That's the whole point of our podcast.
Terribly sorry. Sorry. 18th dynasty between this time and that time. In Egypt's UK.
That's 1550 and 1292.
Two numbers, okay.
All right. Yeah, you're just showing us what we know, but
Yep, so Amenhotep II, son of Thutmose III, maintained the empire. Of course, yeah.
And then we go to Thutmose IV.
Right. Amenhotep III is after him. Anyway,
So who was
Eighth
Amenhotep's
So
sons.
he was the 8th pharaoh of Egypt's 18th dynasty, son of Amenhotep II and father to Amenhotep III. He's best known for his clearing sand from the Great Sphinx recorded in the Dream Cell and establishing peace with that empire.
Sure. Mitanni Empire.
Wonderful.
Uh-huh.
So,
But that doesn't answer who Amenhotep II, who was his first son.
no, but I do like how it is very, very specific over the fact that it is a son. Well, he's the son.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so
Uh-huh.
Amenhotep II. Wonderful.
Does he have a first son?
Here we go. Children. Tutmos the 4th, Amenhotep. That.
Uh-huh.
All of the children that they say.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't even list his firstborn son.
That's just from Wikipedia, so, you know.
Right.
Uh,
We actually do know who Amenhotep's firstborn son is. So if you will go to Google and if you would put in KV 35 tomb entrance.
you just click on it there.
KV 35, 8th dynasty tomb entrance of Hotep II. Okay, we want the tomb entrance
Whoa.
from the outside. So scroll down, I'll show you a picture. I think you'll want to blow up. That one's actually missing the part that we're looking for. Keep going, keep scrolling. Scrolling.
Hang on.
Oh, you're almost there. You're halfway. Oh, that's the steps going down. To it, we want to back up from the steps going down just a little bit.
Not that one.
We could do that one, but there is a way better one. I found it.
TRENCANCE.
Going
with that.
Yeah. Okay.
That one?
Nope. Not that one. Yes, that one right there. There it is. And if you can make it as, oh, it's itsy bitsy tiny. Okay, there you go.
No,
that's pretty. That's pretty modern. That's all right. Right at the outside of those steps before they go down was a statue of one of the Egyptian god.
Here.
It was to the right of the entrance.
Here.
That statue is now at the Egyptian Museum. They moved it.
Of course they did.
But on the back side of that statue, it was given in honor of Amenhotep II's oldest son who died. And his name is, let's see if I can say this good, Weben-Senu.
Here's a better one.
There you go. And just, yes, that's the one I was actually looking for. And just outside and to the right, I don't see your cursor. So yes, yeah, there it is. At the out, and yes, that's where it was, but it has been removed.
Okay.
And it is in the Egyptian Museum. And on the back side, it was given and posted that God was supposed to watch over that entrance because it was dedicated to Weben-Senu, which is the oldest son of Amenhotep II. In fact, if you go and look that up in Google, they will give reference to it, but they will tell you it's disputed.
Didn't they do DNA testing though?
I do not know. I could not find DNA testing. But you bring it up and read to us what Google says about Webben Senu.
Spell it.
W-E-B, Web, N-E-N, Sen, S-E-N, U, Webben Senu. You want to bring it over so everybody can see what you're doing.
On it.
You're typing stuff in and people can't see what you're doing. There he is. Okay.
Ancient Egyptian prince of the 18th dynasty. He was the son of Pharaoh and the brother of him. He is mentioned along with his brother. That and the statue of the overseer, the works incarnate. Okay.
In their writings, they wrote down who Webben Senu was. But isn't it funny? You go to Google. Now, this is where Google and modern AIs,
let's see what they say,
can possibly get you. And they can mess you up and not give you the truth. And because what's at the very stake here? Is the Bible real? That's what's at stake. Because if the Bible was real, that means Amenhotep, if he is the Pharaoh during the time of the Exodus, would have lost his first son. Guess what? Amenhotep had a son by the name of Webben Senu. You want to hear more about Webben Senu? Number one, he was in Pharaoh's tomb. He was the boy in the boat. Being that he was in Amenhotep's II tomb means he died before Amenhotep. The reason why it means that is because if Amenhotep would have died first, his tomb would have been sealed and nobody else would have been in his tomb. Remember, all the other kings was not found in Amenhotep's tomb. They were found in a room adjacent to Amenhotep's tomb and was placed there after they died in order to keep them from grave robbers. But Amenhotep's tomb had not been found. In 1889, it was. And when they went in, they found that it was him because they knew it was him because he had Amenhotep II written across his face cloth and how he was buried. The tomb was sealed, but in the tomb with him was this boy in a boat. Now, in Egyptian times, you knew who the king's sons were because only the king's sons was allowed to wear a shaven head with a ponytail on one side. That way, everyone in the country knew who he was.
So there's two people that they're saying that he is. Obviously, Amenhotep's oldest, the brother of Thutmose the Fourth. The other one, they're calling him actually the son of Amenhotep the Third.
But why would he be in Amenhotep II's tomb?
Without any of the rest of the other people that they're mentioning being his parents or anything. Which, because it came after. So they're saying either it's Amenhotep that came before, or is it these people who came well after them? And so it really feels like a far stretch that they're trying to say, well, possibly it could be this person. And
now, do you know why they won't do a DNA on him? Because it messes up all the dynasty.
Personally, I don't think it messes up the dynasty to be like, oh, well, that explains why his younger
brother... to us who are trying to seek the truth, no, it doesn't mess up the dynasty.
Because the dynasty is what it is. It just adds another name to the history books.
But one more thing it messes up. It means that the Bible is true.
Okay, well, I already believe the Bible's true.
It
It just,
means that the God of the Israelites defeated the gods of the Egyptians.
Yes.
We're eradicating it from history.
They are, yeah. Of course they are. And I'm gonna quickly rephrase that is the God of Israel, the one true God, defeated the false demons, gods of Egypt. I'm gonna
Right.
put that in there for truth. Anyway.
Right. So not only did they find that a statue of one of their gods guarding the entrance with his name on the backside of it.
The irony of them taking the statue that is supposed to stay there. I'm sorry.
You're calling that irony?
I'm just thinking how funny it is. We're going to put this here. This shall never be moved from here. It shall forever. God, can you just imagine them from hell being like, I don't know.
No, actually, go ahead. It hasn't helped us so far.
I don't know.
Okay.
Something like that.
So not only did they find that, but they found this boy on a boat. We know what the boat is for, okay, in order to carry him over into the other world.
That just doesn't make sense.
Okay, we find a boy that has the princely ponytail that is there. We find a boy who died before the father. That's what the evidence shows, or he would never be in the father's tomb. And obviously, he never served as the next Pharaoh and was the oldest son. There's one last little thing, and I went deep diving for this, and I had to find it. It really took me late into the day.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
But if his dad had boils,
he would have boils.
Did he?
He should have.
And the answer was, I found it in one spot.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Which I fully expected, but I wanted somebody to comment on it.
So I did read on there where they said that it was seen that Amenhotep's II's dad also had similar, what'd you call them?
Tubercles.
I wanted
to say tuber.
I wanted to say tubuc or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, okay. But let me just say this real quick, and then you finish. He's in the middle. His dad is on his right side, and his son is on the left. And you can compare them for yourselves. Nobody has them like he does.
Right. My thing was to say is we don't know how he died.
No, we don't.
Boils are a thing that you can die from if you get them bad enough. If you're old,
the infection
runs through.
Oh my goodness, the infection should kill you.
Okay, and they said it could potentially be something that is hereditary, that handed down from one to the other. And I say
you got to go look. Sure, they're side by side underneath glass. Because they're on display at the
my question is
at the Egyptian Museum.
Did all the mummies from the time period in like was his mom? Yeah, his mom was dead. Of course, when the dad died, his mom would have died.
Yes.
Yes. What were we gonna about his wife? Oh, who is it?
Ben.
Okay, well, we'll wrap up real quick here. There's not much more to go over, but my thing is even if it is, it doesn't have to be, and it's sure that could be a tiny possibility, but that in the sea of all the rest of the evidence could still be the boils from the plagues, especially if his son has them.
And his son has them they're roughly gauging that the boy is between 10 and 11. Now, what's really cool, if you have it, can you please call up the picture? Modern science. We've been able to do this for about 20 years now.
Are we talking about
where we're able to bring him to life and show you what he really should look like? And I want to do this for a reason. I want to make Webensenu, I want to make him as human as possible. because I want to talk to our folks. That would have been what he looks like. See the princely ponytail that he has. Okay. That on parts of his body he had the tubercles also. All right. That's what I was told by reading after it. So here we go. Everything that we read about those 10 plagues, everything is true. Why do I say that? Because everything that we have in history, I don't care. You can still take the facts that we have and apply them to scripture, and they bear out 100%. It's not even, it's not innuendos or anything like that. It is said factly what happened, and we are given those facts in God's word.
Right.
Okay. So now we come down to the main thing. Yeah.
The main thing.
The main thing.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. And here's the main thing. God tells us the truth in his word. You can take his word and you can believe it. God told Moses to go back because Pharaoh is dead. Guess what? Tutmos the third died. Moses went back. We know that it's Amenhotep the second because of, first off, if you want to bring out the idea that of the tubercles that are all over his body, if you want to bring out the idea that they are the only two, the first and the second, their reigns match perfectly what would have happened in the life of Moses with the specific timing that had to be there. If you want to bring in the idea of the little boy, Webensenu, if you want to bring him in and that we have evidence that his child died during the time that Moses was there. If you want to bring in the fact that Amenhotep II, it was his second son that served after him, which has to be
the third,
which makes him Tutmos the third, fourth.
Sorry.
Tutmos the fourth is the one who served, because the firstborn didn't live long enough to be able to serve as Pharaoh. In each one of the plagues, they carry very similar actions. God said, go to Pharaoh and tell him I will do this. Every time when it was done, Pharaoh hardened his heart and wouldn't let God's people go. The last time God said, I'm going to do something that is so horrific, he'll let you go. Moses did as he was told. He went to Pharaoh. He told Pharaoh what was going to happen. And Pharaoh, well, the Bible says God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And I want everybody to know this because I firmly believe in the ability to choose, that God gives each and one of us the ability to choose. And you go, well, if God hardened Pharaoh's heart, what do you mean how can you say he gave him the ability to choose?
He chose long before the time of when God put him through all of these. He chose what he was going to do in his life.
Let me say it this way. And I think everybody can understand this. You ever have a friend or somebody that you know or somebody that you love to agitate? And you know that if you push one particular button, they're going to go off the handle. Now, they've got the choice to just chill out, But you know that if I do it this way, they are going to be so angry, even though that they can choose not to be angry, even though they can choose not to fall for it, but you know what button to push. Now, if God knows us that well, better than we know ourselves, do you think he knows all the buttons to push in order to get a reaction out of you? Now, you can choose to do whatever you want. It doesn't take away your ability to choose.
Mm-hmm.
But the psychology is if I do this, I know exactly what they're going to choose because that's their nature. It doesn't take away your ability to choose. However, he is using your own nature against you.
Action and reaction.
Uh-huh. With Pharaoh's supposed to be gods, and God comes in and says, I'm going to do this, and there's nothing that you can do about it. That's already pushing one Pharaoh button. And telling you that you can't keep your son alive, I'm going to take him. You can't keep frogs out of your land, I'm going to send them. I'm going to give you boils. You can't stop me. I'm going to hide the sun. In fact, every one of the plagues that God gave Egypt was a plague that was directly against one of their gods that they worshiped. And God did so to say, I control your gods. The last one was over.
Well, your gods aren't real.
Because your gods aren't real. I am God. They are nothing. The last one was about life. I'm the giver of life. None, your gods, they're not. And there's nothing that you can do. Telling this Pharaoh, Amenhotep II, that there's nothing that he could do and his gods were worthless, enraged him, pushed his buttons. And that's God hardening Pharaoh's heart. It's not that he took away Pharaoh's choice. It's he pushed the right buttons because of Pharaoh's personality flaws.
It's your reactions, but okay.
Okay. How would you say it again?
Reactions.
And I call them personality flaws. But either way, he knew
Same concept.
He knew what buttons to push.
Yeah.
And that's what God did because he wanted to punish Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And he took his first son. In a lot of ways, that young man, that little boy that we see in that picture, paid the price for his father's defiance.
Mm-hmm. I was also gonna, not a disclaimer, not a warning or anything like that,
okay.
But it's for the people who think that the 10 plagues and all of this, even to the point of the little boy, God is the ultimate judge and all-knowing and all-perfect and everything. There's nothing that we can think of trying to get him in a gotcha moment of, why did you do this seemingly horrific thing? And it all came to put a point on something. And what he did to Egypt and how it has still affected them to this day is still in the plans that he has for the entire world, for the betterment of the world, and for, well, how he has it's going to go. But if you think that God is unfair, then you need to stop and check your heart, because it's what is fair.
What was Egypt doing to God's people before this? Actually, when Moses was a baby, God rescued him from what Egypt was doing to God's people. What were they doing?
Well, I'm specifically, I don't know all of the things that were going on.
Why did Moses
senselessly beating them to death?
Why was Moses's mother hiding?
Oh, they also murdered all of the baby boys.
Boys, that's right. They murdered.
So they did a lot of things.
They murdered the children and then offered them to their crocodile god, I can't remember what god it was.
I only know of.
But they offered the Israelites children as sacrifices to the god of the Nile River, which was his form was a crocodile, a false god. They offered God's people as a sacrifice to a false god, the babies, the children. So what did God take in turn? He took Pharaoh's firstborn child.
Took all the firstborn.
Took all the firstborn. That was the price. So tell me, is God just? Yeah. And
I want to say fair, but yeah.
Fair, just.
All of that.
There was a price to pay, and God exacted it.
Which is justice.
So that is there, and it is sad that boy that we see in that picture, I think he is a most unique looking boy. He looks special, and to say that he's a prince, I can see that. And but he paid the price for his father's defiance. Here's something I want our people that are listening to know. When we are defiant to God's ways, when we decide, I don't, the Bible may say that, but I believe this, and you're going to defy God and his ways.
There will be a price to pay.
You stole my thunder, but okay.
Sorry.
No, actually, there's no easy way to say it.
There's a price to pay for your actions.
And not only will you pay,
but those around you will pay.
But those around you will pay also. You need to remember that. That's why our obedience to the Lord, our obedience to his ways, even if you don't understand them, or you are like, I don't get it, but God, I'm going to trust you and your ways. That's a smart move right there, because he is God. He is the creator. And that's what we need to be working for and towards. And it's okay not to understand God's ways and his justice, because he's got a long memory of people who need to pay. We see this in the book of Revelation. There are people who are martyrs, and it says they cry out from underneath the altar and they say these words, "How long, O Lord? How long before we are going to be
how long must we wait until our justice
our blood is avenged, but justice is the thing.
Versions.
Now, how long, Lord? So in other words, there's a long memory, because do you know what his answer is?
Just wait a little bit.
Just a little longer. In other words, they didn't get it right then and there. There was still even more of a wait that they were going to have. He has a long memory, and he is about justice for us. And you say, oh, how long? Well, remember, Moses was a baby, and that goes all the way back to Amenhotep I. And then, after Amenhotep I, you have Tutmos III is in the reign, while when Moses becomes a young man, somewhere around his 30s. And then he kills somebody, and he runs away, and Tutmos III is still in reign for another 40 years. Tutmos III dies and sends Moses back as an 80-year-old man. And Amenhotep II is now the king. And now God is going to exact his justice for something that happened all the way back to when Moses was a baby. 80 years before. 80 years. And the other thing is how many thousand of children did Amenhotep have killed and offered as sacrifices to false gods?
By the way, above Tutmos the Third, it does not list a male pharaoh. It Hatshepsut.
Yeah, there's a female
Yeah,
that comes
she's-
into the dynasty sometime
So-
after that.
Amenhotep the First, Tutmos the First, Tutmos the Second, Hatshepsut, Tutmos the Third, then Amenhotep the Second.
Oh, okay.
So a little off, but
I'm a little off.
The main
So-
the main characters are still there.
Mhm.
There's just a few pharaohs off from Amenhotep the First, which Amos the First, which is actually
So who was before Tutmos the Third?
Tutmos the. I'll just bring it over. Ugh. That female.
Oh,
Female.
you said it right. Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut.
I never say it correctly. Anyway, yeah, and Amenhotep the First is the very second one after the United Egypt. Approximate dates. It's not,
Mhm.
we haven't actually gotten it from somebody who was alive when it happened. Anyway, to end it out, this started so lovely and it started so cool and it's awesome, but it's a very heavy subject when you start to think about it because of just a lot of plagues. But as in all the way back then, to bring it back together, what God did back then is still affecting our history to this day.
To this day. To this day.
Because God is all knowing, God is all everything.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word I'm looking for?
All
Omnipotent?
powerful.
Omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. So who are we to question in our pea-sized brains to know what should and shouldn't be done?
I got a fat head, I want you to know. I don't have a pea-sized brain.
So there's a dog who had an unusual amount of cranial fluid causing her brain to not grow. She only had 5% of her brain that grew properly.
Encephalitis.
And due to her unusually low sodium levels, she was able to live a long life of 12 years before she died of something else. But when they took a CT scan of her brain, realized that 95% of her cranium was cranial fluid and not brain.
Was just water. That's encephalitis, yeah.
They're like, oh dear, she's okay, very interesting. My sister sent that to me 2 days later. My brother sent it to me, the same exact thing, and I had to laugh my butt off because both of them just ran across it randomly and thought, oh, I need to send this to Kay. So when we talk about a pea-sized brain, it is possible. She lived a happy, wonderful life with a very vacant stare, but she still lived. So, hey, if that dog can live with the smallest amount of brain and she was God's nature praising him all the way, I'm sure, even if a little off key, in your normal human brain, I'm sure you can do it too. Even with free will and choice.
So anyway, folks, that's where we are with this. Remember, read God's word, accept what it has to say. Don't try and twist it for yourself and put it into your own understanding. In fact, that's one of the promises of God. Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. Don't do it.
In
all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. So don't forget that. And remember, if you start defying God and his ways, not only will you pay for it, but the people around you will too. So don't let that happen. Serve God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. Love him with all you have.
And love your neighbor as yourself, because yes, you right now can get a wonderful discount of all of your prices that need to be paid 100% free if you accept Christ as your Savior today.
I like that. I'm gonna make you end more of our podcasts with that. That's good.
No, I don't have it all the time.
Well, you better write that down. That's for sure.
I'll just refer to the video.
Well, we're so glad that you've been with us for this podcast talking about Pharaoh's firstborn. And God bless you for being with us. I believe so. Good. And we hope that all that stuff is there to encourage you that what you read in the Bible is real and true.
They weren't afraid of the truth. Why would they be hiding it?
So there you go. Thanks for being with us, Kay. Wrap it up. How do they get a hold of us?
Oh, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Comment down below what your thoughts are. And we'll put in
Joel Kramer.
Yeah, I was going to say to Expedition Bible. This is officially his channel name. We'll put in a link down in the description below to that, to Celebrate Recovery, to Bible Project, who does wonderful work as well, to our other things that we use on the channel, like Bible Gateway. We'll put a link to that. Merriam-Webster and and Blue Letter Bible, although we didn't use it this time. It's still a phenomenal resource to use. All free, of course. All wonderfully free out there, of course. And then you can find us on X, Instagram, and on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. We love you guys so very, very much.
So
we'd love to see you up there in heaven.
Absolutely. Connect with us when you can, and we will see you on the next episode of Into the Word. And remember, we're doing tangible evidence for an intangible faith. God bless.